Hey guys, it's a very special day today. It may still be June 9th wherever you are, but in Korea, June 10th has come. And you know what that day means? It is the return of RM and V from fulfilling their mandatory military service. Also, HYBE's stock has risen to its highest level since April 2022, when the stock market was going way up before it crashed. And it hit 310,000 won per share. So that's probably having all them bunny uncles or other Tokis just all up in a bunch, because it seems as if investors are very much anticipating a successful return of BTS and how that's just going to continue on. However, we do have to mention that there has been a strange, what it looks like, on the one hand, if you're skeptical, a media play that just didn't really work out, or if you do believe the sincerity of the person who spoke up against HYBE and just kind of, spoke her truth, if you believe it to be true. It's a little bit odd, and it seems like it's an attempt to at least rub the shine off of BTS, but the world is already purpleizing because of BTS's return. So ain't no other, some media play gonna work. But let's go over what RM and V had to say on their way out of the military, and then also what is going on. What is going on with people just trying to throw a wrench into somebody else's good news. So today, June 10th, in Korea, RM and V return from the military. Tomorrow, just tomorrow, Jimin and Jungkook are coming back. And then on June 21st, Suga is coming back. And that day will be the day when OT7 returns together and we have the complete members of BTS. Remember, Jin was discharged last year, June 12th, 2024. J-Hope was discharged last fall, October 15th to mid-October 2024. So it was really cool to see RM and V come out of the military, and they did it with some style and fun, and there was a lot of cameras, and they actually gave an announcement, like an interview, that was really cool. So of course there was the saxophone action going on, and then V looking kind of funny and cool and amusing with all of the flowers. So in a nutshell, RM said, while we were actively working, I felt once again that many people were protecting the country and fighting. This is why we were able to be active, and in fact he became very close to his father and friends after coming here to, essentially, like, once you serve your military service, you have something to bond over with other men in Korea, and they think that's very important. So he said that it was a very meaningful time for him to become closer to those who completed their military service and those around him who also did the same. And he wanted to thank the army, not the military army in this case. He already thanked the military army in the first part of his speech, but he meant the BTS army, thanking the BTS army for waiting, and he wants to come back and do his best as a member of BTS, and he's grateful to everybody who took care of him and waited for him. Now, V said, we've seen a lot of his Instagram and social media posts of him really diligently working out, and that's what he mentioned. He mentioned, after I came to the military, I think it was a time when I thought about, getting more connected and getting his mind back, and also rebuilding his body and mind. And so he wants to run back to the BTS army as soon as possible. And he said that he's also very grateful to the army who waited for him. And he wants to say that if you just wait a little bit longer, we're going to be coming back strong with something like performances or music. So he's given a little bit of a snippet saying, like, it'll be sooner rather than later. That's the impression I got from him. And he said that there's a lot of people still there who are, protecting the country, and he hopes that his fellow battalion or teammates are going to, be safe and have a good rest of their time in their military service. And they're both eager to get back to performing. So in Korea, I'm sure around the world as well, it is a purple wave. And definitely, like I said, a wave in the stock market. So HYBE has surged to a 38-month high ahead of the reunion. And so this really is an emphasis and an endorsement of the power of BTS on K-pop, the Korean economy, and HYBE in particular, because while we were waiting for BTS, we certainly had our roller coaster of a ride of drama, orchestrated by one particular mama in mom jeans. And we had to see and really analyze the company and really wonder whether it could survive without BTS, or how much of it, or how much can BTS as well push out some of the problematic issues. So we're going to see immediate content and performances from BTS members. It may not be a situation where immediately we get so much from the entire group, but we already have J-Hope on his world tour, and that started back in February, ends on June 14th, and then he's also scheduled to go to Berlin to perform at Lollapalooza on July 13th. Jin is going to start his solo tour at the end of June and go until August 2025. So I think as early as this fall, if they kind of coalesce back together, we're going to probably be seeing actual product or the snippets of their behind the scenes of getting ready to dazzle us either at the end of 2025 or the beginning of 2026. Remember, all of them have signed their contracts both as a group and as individual members, and that contract starts 2025. So we're going to start seeing a bunch of stuff. Now, I think we just have to accept that in this world, there are people who just cannot stand to see others succeed, and they feel like somebody else's success makes them automatically feel worse. And if anything, we have seen from the Kakao Talk chats of New Jeans Mama, her project plans, her entire vibe in general of how she was orchestrating what she thought would be the smartest move in K-pop in whatever century, or since the day Isuman ever had the idea of creating a K-pop empire. Well, she certainly is going to be eating her just desserts in June, maybe purple flavored, but remember, she has her lawsuits June 12th. That's the put option lawsuit against HYBE, where about $20 million is at stake. June 27th, Source Music versus Mini Jin, the battle over the Kakao Talk evidence. And we have seen that the court, from the New Jeans versus HYBE or Adore lawsuit, is saying that those Kakao Talk messages are relevant. Send them on over to our court. So they're in the Western Court with Source Music and Mini Jin, and so the Southern District Court asked for the evidence. So that's going to come out. We are going to see the Kakao Talk. And then July 24th, we have the next hearing between Adore and New Jeans. So, that was the whole thing about the contract validity, where the judge has been saying, like, girls, don't you really want to settle this? Because it looks like not a chance for them. However, in all things real K-drama, and you've seen it in the K-drama on streaming, that you never ever give up, especially if you're the villain and you just keep trying to see if there is just one strand of hope or a pocket of deception that your JIT can take you out of to safety.
알겠습니다. 감사합니다.